What's poppin', boys and girls? Welcome back to the channel. This is Verse Fantasy. Thank you all for checking in. You're probably interested in Ashton Jeanty. That's why you clicked on the video. We're going to deep dive here a little bit into the history behind rookie running backs taken in the top 10. So Ashton Jeanty, though, is being drafted right now at the end of the first round, early second round, around the Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey tier. He hasn't jumped into the tier above with like Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Saquon, but should he? Should he? Based on the history, it might say otherwise. So we're going to look at the running backs that have been taken since 2015, again, in the top 10. First one's going to be Todd Gurley, 2015. Now, he was a top 10 pick, rushed for over 1,100 yards, finished 5th in fantasy points per game at the running back position, so obviously exceeded where he was drafted at. Next year, it's Ezekiel Elliott, that Cowboys miracle run that they went 13-3. He finished as the 3rd running back in fantasy points per game, the 4th overall pick. The year after that, 2017, we had two of them. We had Leonard Fournette and we had Christian McCaffrey. Fournette finished as number 7 in fantasy points per game, and McCaffrey finished 12th, so not inside the top 10, but he only had 117 carries, but he was 8th in the weighted opportunity score, so meaning you factor in the targets and the air yards for running backs. He was giving more valuable touches, again, only 117 carries for McCaffrey. Obviously, we saw what he did the following year. And then Saquon went in 2018. He was 3rd overall in fantasy points per game on a bad Giants team. Obviously, he went 2nd overall. Years ago in 2023, Bijan Robinson. Now, he's the only outlier here. He finished 17th overall his rookie year in fantasy points per game. Now, I don't think anyone's going to sit here and say Bijan is a bust because we saw him be the RB1, most likely the RB1 for the next foreseeable future. But he was 31st in opportunity share that rookie year. He was 32nd in red zone carries. You remember if you drafted Bijan in 2023, how frustrated you were that Arthur Smith at the time kept putting Kyle Algier in there on the goal line. When is Bijan getting his touches? We saw that even up until 2024, the first, I want to say, 3rd of the year. But then he went on to be, I think, after week 6 of last year, he's been the RB1 overall, will most likely be a top 3 pick in your draft. Just the amount of volume wasn't there for Bijan. Still finished as running back 17. And I'll even throw a little wrinkle in with Najee Harris. We want to look at some other first-round running backs in 2021. He finished as the 6th best running back in fantasy points per game. Remember where he had that crazy year with Big Ben, caught a lot of passes. And then Jahmyr Gibbs, even in 2023, finishes the 8th overall fantasy points per game. And we saw how elite and explosive he has been since coming into the league. Now, average all these out, it's around a 4 to 7, depending on if you include Bijan or not. Overall finish for the running back that was selected in the top 10. So Gurley, Zeke, Fournette, CMC, Saquon, Bijan. Is Jeanty the next guy up, and how safe is he? Now, the only difference of what a lot of people are going to say is that Cowboys team went 13-3. They were elite. That Panthers team was good. This Raiders team is not. So looking back, I also just want to point out the records here of some of these teams, because the big concern is that he is on the Raiders. But as much as that is a negative, I think it also could be spent as a positive because they don't have a whole lot of other options behind him. This man should be slated for at least 250 carries at minimum this year. He can catch out of the backfield as well. But going back to Todd Gurley, his year with the Rams, they went 7-9. Cowboys, as I alluded to, went 13-3. The Jags with Fournette that rookie year went 10-6. Carolina went 11-5, and the Giants with Saquon went 5-11. And then the Falcons went 7-10 with Bijan. Now, the records don't indicate everything. How good was the offense? How many points were they scoring? The Rams, that Rams team scored 280 points. The most was the Jags. They scored 417. Obviously, the Cowboys as well. And the Carolina, New York Giants, they scored around 363, 369. And then the Falcons actually scored less than 300 points if you accumulate it on a 16-game sample size. And this, what Vegas has projected for Vegas, has them around 319 points scored. So kind of similar to the Falcons offense from 2 years ago. They're also projected to win 7 games, exactly the amount that the Falcons did in 2023. Bring in Chip Kelly, you bring in Pete Carroll, you bring in Geno Smith. Obviously, this is going to be a better overall cohesive unit. The offensive line, I don't want to say it's a concern. They were very mediocre last year. They got Colton Miller, who's kind of a staple offensive lineman on that team. Their interior, guards probably need a little bit of work. But, hey, Ashton Jeanty has played through some tough yard after contacts in the past in college. Just watch any of his games, how much this man was hit behind the line of scrimmage. And he was a receiving back too. Led the entire nation in receiving yards for running backs in 2023. He's got the total 3-down skill set. of what you want in an NFL running back. So I think he should be in that category with Gibbs, with Saquon, with Bijan. Obviously, the downside is the offense isn't going to be as high of a ceiling and so many scoring opportunities, but kind of the opposite of Jahmyr Gibbs. He's going to get so many opportunities, and people say volume is king. So if you want just a safe overall player that in the first round we know is going to get 20 opportunities a game, and he isn't going to have many down weeks where he scores below maybe single-digit fantasy football points. And so hopefully this information helps of what you see as far as like the history is telling us. You can read all this stuff on Twitter. You could read stuff about what people are saying, but Ashton Jeanty, one of the firm dynasty, one of the firm selections in the first round that you should be taking. Again, if you guys like this kind of content, feel free to hit the like button that looks like this and hit the subscribe button. We got fancy content coming out every single day. Give us a follow across all socials. Thanks, y'all, and we'll see you tomorrow.